Once upon a time, in a quiet little village, there lived a boy named Jack. He lived with his mother in a tiny little house. Life was simple and sometimes hard, but they were happy, for they had each other. And Jack, curious and brave, was always ready for an adventure. Jack and his mother owned a cow. The cow's milk was their main source of food and income. But one morning, the cow stopped giving milk. Jack's mother sighed and said, "Jack, you must take the cow to market and sell her so we can buy food." Jack set off to the market, leading the cow by its rope. He felt a little sad to say goodbye, but he hoped the money would help his mother. At the market, a mysterious old man appeared. "Trade your cow for these magic beans," he whispered. Jack's eyes widened. Magic beans? He couldn't resist. Jack's heart raced with excitement. He quickly handed over the cow and clutched the shining beans tightly in his hand. With a big smile on his face, Jack hurried home, eager to show his mother the treasure he had found. But when Jack proudly showed his mother the beans, her face fell. "Magic beans?" she cried in disbelief. "You gave away our cow for this?" She was so upset that she tossed the beans away in anger. That night, while Jack and his mother slept, something incredible happened. The beans she had tossed out of the window began to glow softly, and from the soil, a gigantic beanstalk sprouted, twisting and spiraling high into the clouds. Jack awoke the next morning to see the enormous green stalk reaching far above the house, and his eyes widened in amazement. "Wow! It's real!" he whispered. Just then, his mother came into the room and gasped. "Jack, what is that outside?" she exclaimed, worry and amazement on her face. Without waiting, Jack's curiosity got the better of him. He grabbed the beanstalk's sturdy stem and began to climb, higher and higher into the clouds. Above the clouds, Jack looked around in awe. A magical land stretched before him, giant trees swaying, sparkling rivers winding, and enormous castle rising in the distance. Everything was larger than life. Jack stepped onto a golden path, his heart racing. Towering flowers and grass rose above his head. "This place is amazing," he whispered, hurrying toward the giant castle ahead. At last, Jack stood before the biggest castle he had ever seen. Its doors were taller than trees, its windows glittering in the sunlight. Jack swallowed hard. What could be waiting for him inside? Jack stepped quietly through the enormous doorway, and his jaw dropped in awe. The castle's grand hall stretched before him, tall chairs and a fireplace that lit up the room. Everything was so huge and magnificent that Jack felt tiny, yet full of wonder at the magical place he had entered. Jack tiptoed further into the castle, his eyes widening with amazement. Everywhere he looked, treasures sparkled. A golden harp that seemed to hum softly on its own, a hen with feathers that shone like the sun, and piles of glittering coins stacked high. Jack's heart raced. He had never seen anything so magical in his life. Jack's eyes darted around the enormous room. He knew he couldn't take everything, but his mind raced with ideas on how to sneak a few magical treasures back home without being caught. Suddenly, a deep rumble echoed through the castle. Jack froze, his heart hammering in his chest. The floor creaked and heavy footsteps thudded closer. The giant was awake. Jack's mind raced. He had to move quickly before being seen. Jack's hands trembled as he picked up the treasure chest, golden coins spilling and sparkling with every step. He held it tightly and tiptoed toward the door, his heart pounding faster and faster. Suddenly, a thunderous voice echoed through the castle.
Fee, fi, fo, fum! I smell the blood of a little boy!
Jack froze in terror as the giant's enormous shadow crept across the room. He had been spotted. Jack's heart leapt into his throat. The heavy treasure chest slipped from his arms and crashed to the floor, spilling gold everywhere. In a rush, Jack scooped up as many glittering coins as he could and darted toward the castle door. Behind him, the ground shook with every thunderous step as the giant roared in anger. As the giant stomped closer, Jack quickly shoved the coins into his pockets and sprinted toward the door. The giant's heavy footsteps shook the floor behind him. Jack burst out of the castle and clutched the treasure tightly, scrambling down the beanstalk as the wind whipped past him, the giant's furious roar echoing above. Jack's hands gripped the beanstalk tightly as he slid down, the wind tugging at his hair and clothes. Leaves and vines whipped past him as he descended, his heart pounding with every twist and turn. At last, he landed safely on the soft grass, coins jingling in his pockets. Without wasting a moment, Jack grabbed an axe and swung at the beanstalk. With a mighty crack, it toppled, crashing to the ground, leaving the giant stranded far above. With the beanstalk gone, Jack ran home to his mother, who gasped in surprise at the sight of him safe and sound. He stretched out his hands, full of shining gold, and her eyes filled with joy. For the first time, they would no longer be poor, and their little cottage felt brighter than ever before. From that day on, Jack and his mother lived happily, never worrying about hunger again. The beanstalk was gone and the giant was gone. Jack often looked at the sky where the clouds drifted peacefully, remembering his brave adventure with pride.